aging is a privilege. Not
It is.
everyone on this earth is going to have the privilege to age.
Right.
Unfortunately, a lot of people are going to pass away before that can happen. And the
Yeah.
fact that you are able to, your life is extended and you're able to have more life experiences and make more memories and spend more time with your friends and family and just enjoying the earth. It's
Yeah.
kind of disgusting to me that we act like it's something to be horrified about or afraid of. Welcome back. We're your host, Savannah.
And Kaylin.
We are going to talk about ageism today.
Yes. So basically what I did is I separated it into older adults and younger adults.
Yeah.
So here's some discrimination examples for older adults.
Okay.
Age-based hiring,
Mm-hmm.
that's a big one. Um, Mandatory retirement policies requiring someone to retire at a certain age regardless of their performance or desire to keep working.
Yeah, that's ridiculous. That should not be a
No.
thing.
We're in a society where a lot of people can't afford to retire. And if they're
Exactly.
in a state where they can still work, fucking let them. That's not fair to
Yeah,
them.
right.
Healthcare professionals might not provide the same level of care or attention to older
Mm,
patients, assuming certain health issues are just a part of aging without proper evaluation. But so, like, the neglect with elderly in healthcare is just so sad and so
I
common.
know. I know.
It's a huge money-making scheme for them as well.
Oh yeah, all the medicine they can put them on.
Right. Sorry about my stuffy nose too, a little ASMR for you guys. But uh, building media stereotypes. So movies and TV shows often depict older individuals as frail, forgetful, or technologically inept,
Yeah.
reinforcing negative stereotypes about aging.
Mhm.
And that's very true.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
Financial discrimination. Banks or financial
Mhm.
institutions may be less willing to offer loans or financial services to older individuals, assuming they have limited income or stability.
Mm,
Like, okay, but you offer loans to people that have limited income whenever they're young, so
right.
ageist language using derogatory terms or phrases related to age, such as senile or over the hill or young and clueless,
Mm,
perpetuates ageist attitudes.
agreed.
Gotta drop those, man.
Mhm.
Um, Now how this affects their mental health, depression and isolation,
Mm,
low self-esteem,
mm.
anxiety about aging.
And all of them are already feeling this way, so this is just amplifying it
Right.
for them.
Health outcomes,
Mhm.
because it can lead to mistrust of medical professionals, and a lot of older adults won't go seek care because they know this, and
Yeah.
I already feel this way
Yeah,
of not wanting
same.
to seek care sometimes because of discrimination, so I can
Yeah.
imagine. Now ageism goes both ways, so there
Mhm.
is discrimination for young people as well.
Yeah.
Um, Lack of professional credibility. This is a huge one. Young professionals may be perceived as inexperienced or lacking credibility solely based on their age, making it difficult for them to be taken seriously in the workplace.
So true. So true.
Yeah.
I dealt with that a
Limited.
lot.
Me too. Me too. And
'Cause,
like,
I mean, that happens when you're, like, plunged into so, as you know, I was a director of development for a nonprofit for, like, 2 years or so, and I was
yeah,
only 20, 21, somewhere around there. I didn't have a college degree. I didn't really have much experience. I had worked for other nonprofits before, but that's really it. And,
right.
I faced discrimination all the time. I would go up to people for fundraisers and everything and vendors and clients, and they would basically just look at me and be like, "You're the director of development. How old are you? How old are you,
Yeah,
honey?" Like they would just look down on me so much and have no respect for any of my decisions or anything I had to say. So it's a real
yeah,
thing.
it really is. It's and then add the fact that our generation is realizing it's not as important to get a degree,
Mhm. Yeah,
just makes it
exactly.
even deeper. Limited responsibility. Employers might hesitate to entrust young employees with significant responsibilities, just like you were talking about, or
Yeah.
leadership roles, assuming they lack the necessary experience. Just because you're young does not mean you're inexperienced, and sometimes a young mind is a fresh mind.
Yep. Different
Sometimes that's
perspectives.
needed. Yeah.
Mhm.
Big one, salary discrimination.
Yes.
They play it off of it's
100%.
because you don't have experience,
Mhm.
you know?
Mhm. Yep.
Ageist stereotypes about young people being lazy, entitled, disengaged. That's so untrue. I feel like our generation is one of the most hardest working. We're one of the most hungry, money hungry.
Agreed. Agreed.
You know,
But
like,
we're
yes,
just doing it in different non-conventional ways that these older people are not used to seeing, and so to
no,
them, anything new or foreign must be bad,
yep,
basically.
or lazy. Like,
Mhm.
no, just because I found an easier way to make money does not make me lazy. It makes me
Exactly,
not a
smarter,
fucking worker bee. Yeah, work smarter, not
efficient.
harder. Right. Um, Limited access to credit or loans.
Yes.
Financial institutions may be cautious about extending credit loans to young adults, assuming they lack financial responsibility, which is so hard. And I know so many adults that still struggle with this because you have to have credit for everything, but yet they don't want to give you credit.
Yes, exactly.
So it's like,
What are you supposed to do? It's
right.
a catch-22. And then
It,
another one is the car rentals. I know this is such a little thing,
yeah.
but you have to be 25 to rent a
Yeah.
car, but you can be 16 to get a driver's license.
Right.
That's a good 10 or so years of driving experience before you can even rent a car. That's crazy to me. That's
Right.
not
I could see
necessary.
like I could see like
18.
maybe a higher deposit
Yeah.
or like just to cover just in
Yeah, I
case
think as
or
long as you're over 18
and you're
and,
insured.
and you're insured, like, you should be good to go. And I mean, a higher
Right.
deposit is understandable, but
Yeah.
don't limit them like that. Like, that's
No.
crazy.
No. Um Age-based political discrimination. So young
Mm,
people may face barriers or discrimination in politics. Some individuals believe they lack the knowledge or maturity to participate effectively.
yeah.
And a lot of that just goes with us being quote unquote woke,
Mhm,
you know?
mhm,
Not gonna dive too deep in that in the political aspect of things, but how this affects young adults' mental health, stress and pressure,
mhm.
imposter syndrome.
Yes,
Young people encounter ageism in a professional setting and they feel like they don't deserve their accomplishments or fear they'll be exposed as inexperienced.
I get that a lot.
Yep. Limiting opportunities. So, young adults can hinder their career growth and access to
Mhm,
opportunities, leading to frustration and dissatisfaction that can impact mental health. Social alienation. Negative stereotypes about young people, such as being entitled or disengaged, can lead to social alienation and a sense of not belonging.
mm,
And then lastly, low confidence.
mhm,
Um, you know, there's constant exposure to ageist attitudes that can undermine young individuals' self-confidence and self-image,
yeah,
which, as we talked about plenty in the past,
yeah,
there are a few legal and policy frameworks put in place. Not sure how much that they actually help. It was
mm,
actually extremely hard to find information or statistics
yeah,
on this. So there's the ADEA, the Age Discrimination and Employment Act. It's a law that prohibits age discrimination against individuals who are 40 years of age or older in employment, covers hiring, firing, promotions, compensation, and other employment related issues. But obviously, there's always a loophole around things. There's also the ADA Act, Americans with Disabilities.
mhm,
Um, it focuses on disability discrimination, provides protection against age related discrimination, especially if age is intertwined with a disability.
hmm,
Then there's the Civil Rights Acts of 1964. It prohibits discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, and national origin, but it can also encompass age discrimination if age is connected to other forms of discrimination.
but it has to be connected to other forms. It
Yep.
can't just
And
be
there's
age.
loopholes to everything.
Oh,
There's still plenty of cases where jobs discriminate based on race
yeah,
or age
definitely.
or
Mhm,
gender. And then there's also always state and local laws. So,
mhm,
local jurisdictions have their own anti-discrimination laws. Um, and then lastly, I just wrote a few tips for combating ageism.
mhm,
For young adults, you can challenge stereotypes. Most important, in my opinion, is educate yourself. Like
mhm,
I said earlier, we are in a world of misinformation. It
Yeah.
is so hard. Don't trust based off word of mouth. Look up your
Mhm.
laws, look up your rights.
Mhm.
Know them when you're applying for a job, when you're working for a company, when you're going to the doctor.
Yeah.
And that goes for young and elderly or
Mhm.
older adults.
Mhm.
Um, you know, interact across generations. Just because you're younger, don't not interact with someone older than you because you feel like they're old.
Right.
Make sure that if you interact across generations and everyone does, then we'll all be a community and not so separated by age. And
Mhm.
advocate for inclusive it I think I struggled with
Inclusivity.
the same word last time. Inclusivity. Damn
Yeah.
it. Um, we gotta advocate for each other. That's a
Mhm.
huge problem. So many people see stuff and they just don't say anything.
Yeah.
Especially at, like, work or doctors. There's
Definitely.
companies, I know from working in an answering service, like, took calls for companies like this, there's companies that advocate for elderly care patients because there's so many, like, nursing homes and assisted living homes and stuff that are just
Yeah.
mistreating the crap out of people.
Oh, don't get me started on that.
Right.
Ooh.
And then for the older adults, stay active and engaged. Don't isolate yourself.
Mhm.
Share your wisdom. A lot of people are set in their ways. You know, they're like, this day and age is different. Things aren't taught the same anymore. Morals aren't taught. Okay, so share your wisdom. Don't talk about it not being taught without actually sharing what
Doing
you know.
something about it.
Because
Mhm.
most of the time, people that have the wrong mindset were taught that.
Yep.
Challenge age limits. Don't listen to these limits that people say you can't. If you know you can, challenge it. Stay informed. Like I said before, it's so important to know your rights, know your laws, just know what's going on when it comes to this, and
Mhm.
lead by example
Yeah.
is the last one. And that's something we can all do.
Mhm.
But it's a real freaking problem.
It definitely
And
is,
it's
yeah.
so common and no one talks about it. Well,
No.
it's not a popular topic at least.
Yeah. I wanted to say a little bit just about,
Yeah.
the culture of aging. 'Cause
Yeah.
that has been really bothering me lately. I feel
Yeah.
like, people are just so caught up in not looking older and
Yeah.
not being older, so there's always that joke about, once you get past a certain age, you start lying about your age, or especially as a woman, you'll say like, "Oh, a lady never tells her age," or like some you
Yeah.
know what I mean? Just like stupid jokes like that,
Yeah.
which, I mean, they're innocent, but they're based in brainwashing, let's be real.
'Cause your
Um
age shouldn't matter, it shouldn't affect
there
anything.
should not be shame associated with age, and that's what
No,
pisses me off so much. Like,
it's
I
natural.
wanna be proud to say I turned 76 one day,
Yeah,
hopefully. 'Cause to me, I feel so strongly about this. Aging is a privilege. Not
it is.
everyone on this earth is going to have the privilege to age,
Right.
unfortunately. A lot of people are going to pass away before that can happen. And the
Yeah.
fact that you are able to your life is extended and you're able to have more life experiences and make more memories and spend more time with your friends and family and just enjoying the earth, it's
Yeah.
kinda disgusting to me that we act like it's something to be horrified about or afraid of.
Or embarrassed.
Mhm.
Aging is
Mhm.
beautiful
Yes,
in more
definitely.
ways than physical beauty, like,
Yeah, I
just
agree.
having that inner wisdom
Yeah,
and having those experiences and those memories,
yes.
it's a
Which
beautiful thing
that
to be proud of.
what you said just reminds me you haven't seen the Barbie movie yet, right?
No.
I don't really wanna spoiler. I mean, it doesn't have anything to do with the plot of the movie, it's just a
Yeah, yeah.
moment. This is a moment I really, really and anyone else who watched the Barbie movie, I'm sure you bawled your eyes out too during this moment. Barbie is in the real world for the first time, and she's sitting down at a park, and I believe she's waiting for a bus or at a park, something like that. She's sitting on the bench, and on the other side of the bench is this old lady. And, she has white hair and wrinkles and, she looks so sweet and so cute. And Barbie looks over at her and they smile at each other. And Barbie says, "You're beautiful." And the old lady just smiles and says, "I know." And they both laugh
That's so
about it.
sweet.
And to me, just that image of Barbie, the stereotypical beautiful young woman who doesn't age, calling the old woman beautiful. Ugh,
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
gets me, man. It gets me because, like, why don't we feel that way about older people? I just don't get it. And I
I
honestly,
know
me,
I
like,
do.
when I look at older people now, I look at them and I'm like, wow, they are beautiful. They're handsome. That I just think about all their life experiences
Yeah,
and just the joys and the sorrows that they've been through. And I mean, I
yeah.
kind of decided to, when the time comes, I'm not going to dye my hair when my hair starts going gray.
Me neither. I'm so
I'm just
ready.
going to
I
let
hope
it.
my hair turns white. I want it to be white.
But if it doesn't, I'm not going
I'll
to be
still be
like,
happy.
yeah, I'll still be see, that's another brainwashing thing that we have, that only, like, white
Yeah.
hair is acceptable, but gray
Oh,
hair
yeah,
is more,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
ratty looking or not
Well,
as
I love gray hair,
Mhm.
don't get me wrong. I just say that because I've, like, I just feel like with my features, I would just look
Same.
like a badass old lady with some white hair. But if I
Same.
got the silver, then that's cool with me too.
Or a little bit of
Hey.
both. No, but it's just one
Yeah.
of those things, like, the beauty industry makes so much money off of aging and women's fear to age. I mean, you gotta think, like, serums, makeup, treatment,
Yeah.
like, there's so many things out there, and it's like, just enjoy your life, don't worry about constantly trying to look 20 years younger than you actually are, because ultimately it doesn't matter,
No.
like, of course, take care of yourself, take care of your health.
I was
If
gonna
you
say,
wanna
like, skincare, that's a little
Yeah.
different,
Mhm,
if
mhm,
you're doing it for health-wise or to make sure
of
your skin
course.
is replenished,
Your
but
skin is your largest organ in your body, take care of
yeah,
it. Like
exactly. And that goes with, like, how you were saying in your lifetime, you will be a trend at some point.
Yeah.
'Cause
Mhm,
trends just change so much and then,
mhm.
like, beauty standards and beauty image.
Yeah,
And I
definitely.
think about, like, a couple years ago when it was all the rage to have silver or gray hair.
Yes, right, exactly.
Meanwhile, we've always been like, "Oh my god, I have a gray hair, I need to pluck it,"
Yeah,
like,
and that's
you
always
know?
painted as a bad thing. Everyone would be
Yeah.
like, "Have you found a gray hair yet?" Like, people are asking my husband, Ricky, now,
Yeah.
like, "Oh, did you find any gray hairs in your beard?" Like, what does it matter, you know? That's so
Right?
silly. I hoped it. But it's just one of those things, like, you just know that big corporations are profiting so much off of women's insecurities, and it makes me upset because they do
Yeah.
that enough when we're young, and then as
Yeah.
we age, they pile it on even more. It's like
Yep.
and women are only valued I feel like a lot of people only view women as valuable when they're between and this is so nasty, a teenager through 25. Or
Yeah.
maybe 30 if I'm being generous. And then after that
Especially,
age Leo
especially by
DiCaprio.
Leo's standards.
That's who I always think of. But yeah, no, think about it though, like, when I mean, I just turned 26, and I
Yeah.
already feel like I'm not gonna like, I'm not a hot commodity anymore on the you know what I mean? Like, people already
Yeah.
are probably like, "Oh, she's too old," you know? And that's so crazy to me. Like,
You want something to make
men
you feel old? Now in high schools, for Spirit Week, one of the days is dressing as the 2000s.
Woo, man. I remember when in the 2000s, it was dressing as the 90s.
I know.
That's so crazy, bro. But one thing, though, that I noticed a lot is that as men age, they are considered more attractive.
Yeah.
And women are always like, "I need me a sugar daddy who's older than me. I need a silver fox," or, talking about, like, George Clooney as he ages and,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
which I mean, but, like,
Yeah, yeah.
men are celebrated when they age, they're more
It always
respected,
has been.
and for women, when you age, you're not valuable anymore, you're not worth anything, and that's not true, you are. Like, your age
Yeah.
does not define anything about you, it does not define your worth, nothing, and I hate that we still attribute worth with age as well as worth with
Yeah.
weight, worth with a particular facial feature. It should not be
Yeah.
that way. We're living in 2023, people. Do better.
Right. I just wanna say, when I was a kid, I always wanted to be an adult. I was always like,
Mhm.
"Oh, I just can't wait to be a grown-up," and,
Same.
and yeah, being adult sucks, don't get me wrong. sometimes I wish I was just an oblivious little kid again.
Oh, yeah. We all
But
do.
I feel like this year was the year that I really, like, grew up.
Yeah,
Um,
I've seen that.
and yes, it sucks, but it's also refreshing in a way because
Mhm.
there's, like, this pressure when you're a kid of once you're an adult, you have to know everything, you have to be intelligent, you have to have your shit together.
Yeah.
And now I'm realizing that everyone's just kinda walking around trying to figure their shit out.
Oh, yeah.
There's
Oh, yeah.
no real point when you just have your shit figured out. If you're an average
Mhm.
citizen
Yeah.
and not like a millionaire or, a higher up, it's really just about enjoying your time and
Yeah.
learning what you can and doing what you can for your family. It's not about having this greater knowledge of everything.
Exactly. Or, all these successes in your life. Like, success is nice, don't get me wrong, and it is good to work towards something and have a goal and succeed. But when that becomes your focus instead of just like making memories and focusing on the people that you surround yourselves with, and it just becomes kind of empty, you know? And
Yeah.
ultimately, like, I think about it this way, like, life is just so fucking short. We
Yeah.
literally don't know if we're gonna wake up tomorrow. So, why would
And
I waste time?
even if we do
Yeah,
wake up, we're gonna blink and it's gonna be 30 years later,
exactly.
you know?
Exactly. So why, like, spend so much time, like, worrying about knowing this and doing that and being
And
successful here
looking
and
this type of way
looking
and
that way? I know, aging, like, be grateful that your deadline is a little longer than a lot of people, like, that's how
right.
I see it, so
Yeah. Well, this has been a great episode.
I know, it's
Let
been a
me
long one.
it has been, sorry guys, but that's the special thing we're doing for episode 10, talking y'all's fucking ears off.
Woo! Hope you enjoyed.
Right?
Oh my god. I do wanna do a quick shadow work question if that's okay, because I
Okay,
think I thought of one and we can make it quick,
okay, I'm down.
so I wanna ask, what are you most afraid of when it comes to aging?
Ooh, that's a great question.
Yeah.
I would say my health. That's the
That's
only
valid.
thing these days that I really stress about when it comes to
Mhm.
aging. Not it's not really about, like, life goals or where I'm
Yeah.
gonna be or how much money
Mhm.
I have. It's getting my health in order. Um, it's stressful at my age now. So I worry about when I'm 60
Yeah.
plus, you know? But if I get
Right.
things in order and I take care of myself and I start learning more like I'm trying to, like, about nutrition and just overall health and
Yeah.
supplements and things like that, then I'm
That'll help.
hoping it'll be better,
Yeah,
you
that'll
know?
definitely help in the long run for sure.
Yeah, what about you? What's
Oof.
your biggest fear?
Dying. How to be
You're
that
like, "What's
person.
your biggest fear about aging?" Not aging.
Literally though, like, there is truly nothing I'm afraid of or worried about when it comes to getting older, except for
Yeah,
the fact that I don't know if I'm gonna get old or not,
yeah,
or like how
yeah.
long or when does it end, like that. And we're not gonna get into the whole existential crisis conversation again,
No,
because
no, no.
I'm in that headspace like 90% of the time as an adult. But yeah, I think it's just mostly that. I just want to focus on, just making as many memories and experiences as
Same here.
possible and appreciating the little things because you never know when it'll end. So,
Yeah,
yeah, kind of
love that.
depressing, but not really. Well,
Yes.
bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
See you next week.